welcome to another day here at my desk. My name is Jen and I make videos of stationery, journaling, planners, and all the little things in between. Today I wanted to share my personal rings setup. I think of this as my goals planner at the moment. In my video on how to choose the right Filofax that fits you and your lifestyle, you'll notice that I have gotten a new personal size planner since then from Filofax. So I mentioned how special this Finsbury is to me. So I was concerned on how the spine was getting warped, and it was like the stars aligned when I saw this one on sale. I mean, this color is one of my favorite colors ever. And just when I thought nothing could top the dark aqua color of this pocket here. So this is them side by side. And I will say that this one is a little bit more buttery and it has a probably nicer texture. So I'm excited to see how this wears over time. It's more of a matte, it's just very dry. And by dry, I mean it's just matte, so I've been moisturizing it to maybe help with that, but I also sort of like it. But it's definitely much thicker of a leather than this guy, if anyone was curious. And the balsam I've been using is, so this one. And I mostly just wanted it to sort of soften up, and I feel like it really has. I'm sure with use it'll soften up a little more. So with the addition of this, I've migrated my Finsbury to function as a memory keeper instead. It seemed like the perfect use for it, and I'll insert a sped up clip of the migration and we'll go over how I have it set up after that. So here's that clip. Hello, so I just received this Filofax order, and I know previously I had talked about how I never want to replace this, and I really don't, but I'm finding myself not using it as much because I really want it to be able to lay open without worrying about it creasing here. It's not really about things never aging, it's just my mom got this for me and it's just extremely special. I was looking on the Filofax website and just kind of browsing idly, but I did find the most beautiful personal leather Filofax organizer in the original, and it was on clearance for 40% off. So it just, I don't know, it made sense to kind of switch what I'm using this for and put my old diaries and calendars in here so I can flip through it, because before I've been keeping it in the storage little binders from Filofax. So I do have these. It's like a couple of years of, I don't want to say actual diary, but I do like to flip through these to look at memories. So it's kind of my first experience memory keeping outside of a journal where they're just journal entries. So I'm hoping to put this in here and be able to flip through it as like memory keeping. And we'll do this unboxing and switch this over. I want to make this last for the rest of my life, which is why I think this is the perfect way to do that, but also be able to use this size. Welcome back. Okay, now that you're caught up, let's get into this planner. So you'll see here, this is a picture of my mama, and this is a note that she wrote me a really long time ago, even like cut it into a heart. I've kept it all these years. I think she did it around like 2011 or something, you know, when I went to college. She recently passed in 2023, and I just love to have pictures of her in all of my planners and journals. It's just comforting, and that's probably why you'll see her picture in all of my journals, because it's just comforting. So in here I have, this is kind of like a pencil board, because I find that it can be kind of sharp on the edge here, but that's just with any rings, and I've accepted that's just part of it. So I like to use this. So I just put washi tape. Oh, here. So it's this one, this washi tape, and I've put it all along here and lined it up. So I keep that here. And this is I've cut this off of some packaging. I don't even remember what it's from, but I like to use this as like kind of decor, but also a bookmark if I need one handy. It's like right there. And this is just a washi tape card that I keep in here. I use the thin one, so you'll see that it's on the thinner side. So this is a full washi tape size, and it's like part of it because I don't have a ton of room for the washi tape in here. So this is the washi tape I tend to use in the personal rings. So in general for this planner, I like to use it for goal tracking. I reach for this daily at times, but mostly a couple of times weekly. So in this motivate section, this started as a collection of quotes and wisdom when I was using this as my planner, like my everyday carry. So I copied the ones that were about art to my pocket size, which I mentioned before, and kept this section as more motivational. So I also keep to-do inserts from Filofax, and I really love these. I use this throughout the whole organizer. I'll keep track of maybe filming or any hobby equipment needed, anything that I don't want to keep rewriting in my weekly planner as a to-do, like a long-term to-do that isn't necessarily like something that I have to do as far as just a long-term to-do. So with that, there's also house projects or upgrades. So that's in the more immediate future as opposed to the upgrades in my A5. Planner supplies needed for next year. So I have it ready when it's time to order again. Mostly inserts that I've run out of or I'm running out of, or if I know which planner I want next year, or even post-its, even stationery stuff. Pretty much I do that to help myself and get free shipping. It also helps with low buy challenges. So instead of buying a little here and there and shipping, I'm just grabbing what I need and getting free shipping. Okay, so this is the notes section. I do have some meal planning inserts, so I only keep about 5 to keep this thickness down. I'm trying to use these inserts more, but I don't always, but I would like to, and I'd say I'd use it maybe like twice a month, and maybe we can get that number up, we'll see. But I also keep quotes or random notes to reference in the future that aren't specifically motivational, so that's all after here. Usually when I write down something useful, and this is usually with things related to my yearly goals specifically, I will move that into this section. So this next section is write, and when I had this as my planner, I labeled it calendar, and once I migrated out of this for my everyday calendar, I changed this to write, and especially it's in the middle. So like I've said before, I like how it's just the most comfortable way to write in here. And so if I'm writing new things, it's usually in here. And if it's just like a note, I will move it to this notes section afterwards. So I prefer the cream insert, and I like to keep a stack of paper in this section, although I might need to take some out as she's getting a little bulky. But I think in general I would have at least 10 pages in this section to write. So when I was using this as a calendar, I prefer the month on 2 pages and the week per page. And I'll show you when I show you this one some examples when I did use it as my planner. But so this year my planner is actually the Hobonichi weeks, and I very much love that I switched. I'm very happy with it, and I'll share that setup in the next video of my planner ecosystem. So I've also bookmarked notes. If I reach for this super quickly, I like to be able to go directly to a clean page and write. And I also have a pencil board, and it helps. My writing looks a lot better with it behind it. And I actually got this on Etsy. I kind of cut it. It used to be like a folder, and this is the folder part that I kind of cut, and it fits this pretty well. Okay, and the next section is my goals section. It's probably arguably the most important part, or I guess the meat and potatoes of this. So I have this bookmark going to my current project, but I'll show you. I use the Filofax inserts called projects and goals, and it took me a minute to figure out how I wanted to use these, but once it clicked, I really love them. So at the end of this goals section, I'll have my rewards, wish list, and milestones as sort of positive reinforcement for myself. I've talked about it before. It really helps with my ADHD and to achieve my goals on the regular. And I also keep my yearly goals in here to reference and also track if I'm making progress towards that goal. So I also have a notebook that every year I make yearly goals, and I'll show you that sometime in the future. But what I'll do is I'll take from that the trackable goals, and they will go in this section. So this is my yearly goals section to track. So I put the 3 words for the year up here, and just to keep it in mind, but also as a form of partially as like manifestation, but also just to keep it in mind throughout the year what I wanted to focus on. So I write them out here, and that way I can track them throughout the year. And with the rewards, wish list, and milestones tracking, I will use the to-do inserts here. And I'll write what it is that usually if I complete a goal, I will put what kind of goal it is and a list of things that I could potentially get from my wish list. And it's also something that, you know, we see something every day, or like maybe there's a new planner supply that is not something that's replacing or needed, but just like a treat yourself, especially stationery, I will put here as, you know, a rewards wish list. Okay, so the next one is budget. And this section is sort of long-term budgeting versus I have a traveler's notebook passport size that I do monthly and weekly budgeting, and also how I track my low buy goals. But for this one, I do have these budgeting inserts, but I don't believe they're from Filofax. It's just a typical sort of accounting log. But here I will track my financial plan in the long term, if I'm paying off anything, personal income info, contact numbers for banks or etc., information on my cards. But I'll also have yearly financial goals. So as far as my financial planning, I'm probably in here the most throughout the year, if you don't include my low buy notebook, which I'll show you in the next video how I have that set up. And so I use the contacts inserts for the bank information because it's just easier that way. In this section, I have it as contacts. So this is pretty much my address book. I will save addresses for maybe Christmas cards and birthdays and anniversaries for the special occasions, but I mostly use the contacts or addresses insert in here. I'll also track some gifts in here, either what I've received or what I have given. Usually what I have given I'll track on my phone too in the notes app, so that way I have it on me. But at the end I have sticker sheets, and I have this for some random cards and some post-its. So I normally keep maybe 5 in here to keep it slim. And that's pretty much how this one is set up. Now for this one. So I have some really old cards that I might need at some point, but just not frequently or as frequent as my other personal rings. But in here I have like pictures and also some business cards, stuff like that. And this I actually copied. It's actually a moleskin that I copied because I really liked it. I wish it showed up a little better, but I really love this image, so I wanted to put it in here. And this is pretty much contacts. These are actually new, so I haven't been able to organize them into the alphabets, like alphabetical order, but eventually I will. This section is where I put my old goals so in here, whenever I've completed this goal, I'll write down when it was completed and it will go in here. And these are just previous years of inserts. For a while, I was using the month on 2 pages diary because it came with this. So for a while, I was trying to use it because I like how it laid flat on my desk, but I instead just consolidated to my Hobonichi Weeks and Hobonichi A5 for monthly calendars. But I still wanted to keep it in case I change my mind and later want to use them. So probably at the end of the year, I will toss whatever months I didn't use and just keep the months I did use for memory keeping. And so like this is 2024, so I have month on 2 pages. So here's an example. And I was away on my Japan trip at this time, so there's not much here, but this is pretty much how I would use it. And I also had a week on 1 page diary, and so I've used all of these, and so I like to go back and see kind of, it's like a record of my life at the time. And then this is 2023, and I have the month and the weekly, and 2022, and I have the month and the weekly as well. And then I have extra sticker sheets if I need them in my other personal rings. And these are also cards that I don't use often, but it's nice to have. And I'm using this as sort of a page lifter. It's getting bulky, so I'm thinking about moving the contacts over to my other one. You know what? Okay, I just moved them over because I already had the contacts here, so that just made sense for now. But I do need to copy them over into alphabetical order. And I think that's still doable. And then this will just stay as a memory keeper entirely. That's pretty much everything I wanted to share with you on my personal rings, and so you probably won't see this very much in the future. I call this Indigo. I forget what the actual color is called, but this will serve as my memory keeper, so you'll probably mostly just see this one in the future. Thank you so much for spending a part of your day with me. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some value from it. Until the next one, happy planning.